almost 40% of people that start hormone therapy might experience some side effects. We're doing hormone side effects, how to fix them. Getting an answer for all of your symptoms that you've been having recently in regards to perimenopause and menopause is great, fun, and exciting time. And getting that prescription for hormones, which we expect is going to hopefully improve the issue. However, sometimes these medications, these hormone medications do come with side effects. They're generally not a roadblock, and we can generally titrate your dose to hopefully find the right shoe that fits you in regards to the hormone therapy, your estrogen, your progesterone, maybe even testosterone, to get you feeling better without side effects. But in this video, we're going to cover some of the most commonly encountered side effects when someone is starting their hormone replacement dose. Again, my name is Eric Schmidt. I'm a board certified OBGYN and a minimally invasive gynecologic surgeon. A lot of the previous videos, we went over the different hormones that you can take to help with the perimenopause and menopause symptoms, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. And so watch those videos if you want to learn more about that. Almost 40% of the time when we're starting hormones like this, since there's so many different hormone receptors on almost every tissue within our body, you could potentially develop another symptom or what we call as a side effect of that medication. And most of these times the side effect is very rare or minor. So one of the most common side effects that we see, that I see when prescribing new hormonal medications for somebody in their perimenopause or menopause time is the side effect of vaginal bleeding. Now, this is, of course, in somebody with their uterus still, they haven't had a hysterectomy. And so the way that it physiologically works is that estrogen stimulates the endometrium, just like it did in the menstrual years. It through the menstrual cycle and the hormone fluctuation, when that estrogen builds up in the beginning half of the cycle, the endometrial layer thickens to try and support pregnancy. And when that progesterone signal happens, it stabilizes that estrogen signal. And so the endometrium stabilizes, hoping that the ovulation results in pregnancy. But when it doesn't, the estrogen and progesterone goes down. And when it does, that's what leads to the bleeding. If this does happen within the first few months of starting hormone replacement, we consider it normal or not something that necessarily needs to be worked up. Now, we might need to make some adjustments, but we don't want to usually go and get additional imaging or do endometrial sampling or something like that. That's way too excessive if it's just within the first few months of starting your estrogen replacement. There are a few things we can do. However, if someone is experiencing bleeding all of a sudden out of nowhere and after they've been stable on their hormone replacement for years, you might want to get that evaluated. But yes, it can be super annoying to all of a sudden get that bleeding when you've potentially been without bleeding for many months or potentially years. And so we're going to want to fix it. And there's a few ways we can do that. One, we can decrease that estrogen dose, that estrogen signal to the uterus, decrease it so it doesn't tell that lining to build as much. And that is one way to do it. However, if the patient really likes the effects that they had with that, what you could do is leave the estrogen dose the way it is, increase the progesterone dose. This also could work. Sometimes doing the progesterone in what we call cyclic manner can cause more bleeding irregularities or the bleeding still to happen. So often what we might recommend is taking that progesterone every night versus only 12 or 14 nights a month. Or if someone's still having bleeding, despite the good estrogen signal they're on, we can do what's called a progesterone IUD or the often branded the Mirena or Liletta IUD. This works really well at making it so that the endometrium stays thin and someone doesn't have bleeding. The concentration of estrogen and progesterone receptors within the breast tissue is also very high. And so it's logical to think that when someone starts a new medication, while their hormones have been lower or all over the place in perimenopause, now you're starting your hormone patch and progesterone pill potentially, or whichever formulation you're choosing, well, that could also stimulate those receptors on the breast tissue and give some symptoms, specifically breast tenderness. Again, this is most common when someone is just starting their hormone or getting their adjustment in their hormone replacement, often within the first 1 to 3 months of starting the medication. Most commonly, this is the estrogen that is causing this. However, it can be the progesterone too. And that's why sometimes a staggered approach to starting hormone therapy puberty. I didn't mention this with the bleeding, but it also applies there, meaning starting them one at a time so you know which one is giving you the adverse side effect is sometimes the approach that we do. As you can find out, is it the estrogen causing this or is it the progesterone causing this? But when you start both at the same time, it's hard to know that. You can start them both at the same time. You have the side effect. You can start to lower the estrogen because that's the most likely culprit. Or if that's not working, you can lower the progesterone. And if you notice it's the progesterone causing a lot of this, you can always switch to the IUD, which has a less chance of this happening, less systemic hormones from the IUD, but still gives fantastic uterus protection. As far as how often people get the breast tenderness, I mean, sometimes that's in the range of 10, maybe even a quarter, 10%, maybe 25% of people starting hormone replacement. And when it comes to breast tenderness or breast changes, you always want to be aware of what's hormonally changes or what's, potentially, something abnormal. When I'm always starting hormone replacement, I'm always making sure someone's up to date on their breast cancer screening. Make sure we have a good understanding of family hereditary breast cancer syndromes, if there's any risk for that. It's always a good idea to, one, continue with your breast cancer screening so you know your own breast tissue. Also, if you're starting the medication and you're getting this tenderness, if it's not going away, not getting better, you certainly want to let your provider know because they might want to do additional imaging. While the risk of developing this breast tenderness is not linked to anything like breast cancer, you don't want anything popping up hiding behind this. And so if this is going on more than the first few months of you starting a hormone, you definitely want to know and get it evaluated so you guys can make the best plan for you. Now, it's important to remember that hormone receptors are almost on every single tissue in our bodies. And so if we're giving somebody an additional hormone, there's always a chance they have additional side effects. We just talked about the two most common side effects that someone can get, but also someone can get the things like bloating, nausea, mood changes, irritability. We're trying to fix a lot of those things that come with perimenopause because the hormones are fluctuating so much, and often the patch will fix that. But there's always a chance that it doesn't necessarily fix it, maybe even might make it slightly worse. Again, usually temporary, because once the body has the consistent hormones, the adjustments happen. But there's always a chance that someone could have mood changes, bloating, nausea, especially if somebody's taking estrogen orally. That's one of the reasons why we generally prefer at least trying the transdermal approaches, not absorbed through the GI system. That's one of the reasons why we recommend the transdermal. Generally, a lot of these things improve, but are all potential side effects. These all are pretty rare with hormone replacement. I see it very infrequently in my clinic for these symptoms, but can certainly happen. Some dose adjustments can fix this. If it becomes, if it's pretty bad for somebody, maybe you need to take a step back, reevaluate, look at the non-hormonal options for treatment of hot flashes or things like that. I know I made this point in a lot of the other videos, but when people talk about hormone replacement and hormones, they was given a bad rep for things like blood clots, strokes, breast cancers, endometrial cancers, that it causes that. And so much of that has been disproven recently. So the chances of things like stroke, blood clots is extremely low with low dose appropriate hormone therapy. And again, I just wanted to make that point one more time that those serious risks with hormone therapy are almost 0 to none with bioidentical, with appropriate low dose hormones to make the symptoms better. The last point I want to talk about is the chance that these hormones aren't exactly fixing the issue that you're seeing your doctor for. Now, this could be that you have bad hot flashes or night sweats, and you're on hormones thinking it's the savior for your symptoms. However, it doesn't improve it completely. And so again, we have multiple options to titrate up these doses. And generally, we start kind of low, middle of the road and titrate up. But always keep your eye out. Always try and keep the best healthy self with regular appointments with your PCP to make sure nothing else is going on. Make sure that eating well and exercising on a regular basis, because that's going to also help a lot of those symptoms. And so, while it's fun and exciting to get an answer with hormone therapy, it's not always the answer. And so always be an advocate for yourself. figure out, and make sure you're living the best, healthiest life possible. And hopefully these hormones can be another tool in the toolbox to make you feel better on an everyday basis. These side effects are pretty rare. Most people don't have any of these, and that's by and large, most people don't. And if they do have them, they're usually mild, they're usually temporary, and usually improve with time. But keep in communication with your doctor or whoever's prescribing to you, and figure out the best treatment plan for you. And I hope this is the fix that you've been looking for, because far too many people are suffering from this and not getting the answers they need or want. So again, hope you all enjoy it. Little like button down there if you don't mind, and we'll hopefully see you guys soon.